I'm in my early 20s. Without any resources to help. Earned my first pot of gold. A few million isn't a lot. Now I am a content creator. The income is alright. And frequently pay attention to business matters. Also frequently invests. I've always thought I was pretty smart when it came to making money. I've really wanted to make a video to share with everyone. First, I'd like to give everyone some advice. Half of those who teach you how to make money are scammers. Half of them sell courses. Obviously, if there were a way to make a sure profit, why teach you when you can earn it yourself? This video of mine is all about the cognitive principles of wealth. Things in mind. And I'm not selling courses right now. I won't make any money off you. Hopefully this will be of some benefit to everyone. If you find this helpful, give me a thumbs up. Just insert a coin. Without further ado, let's get to the point. I wonder if anyone has defined a money-making model. You will find, in reality, there are only 3 types of people in this world who can make money. They are, respectively, 1. Resource providers. 2. Entrepreneurs. 3. Capitalists. A resource provider is someone who provides resources to the world. For example, your time, talent, labor, etc. An entrepreneur is someone who integrates various resources and manages them to generate profits. Capitalists use money to invest and generate profits in a timely manner. It's just like a company. Employees are resource providers. They are people who have more time than money. Investors are capitalists. They have more money than time. Entrepreneurs should stand in the middle. Connect the two. But regardless of identity, it doesn't actually have much to do with earning efficiency. For example, celebrities are resource providers. Although it also involves giving up one's own time for performances and endorsements. But the income of a top-tier star, more than the vast majority of entrepreneurs in the world. The small noodle shop owner by the roadside can also be considered an entrepreneur. They work from dawn till dusk every day. It may not be as profitable as working for a top company. Capitalists sound impressive. But capitalists in a broad sense are actually everywhere. For example, I buy stock in a company. I became a shareholder. The employees at this company are all working for me. They worked hard, even overtime, to make the company bigger and stronger. I can make money too. So it's fine if I'm a capitalist. But the stock market itself does not create wealth. Instead, it's about distributing wealth. It's just that the dealers and big players distribute the profits. The wealth of us leaks. So all my money is just going down the drain. Moreover, many people have multiple identities. For example, some people work while also trading stocks. Some people invest and run companies at the same time. But regardless of how much money one makes or whether one is rich or not, the most important prerequisite is luck. Someone asked what the reason for Buffett's great success is. He said, "I am an American first and foremost." Secondly, he was white. If Buffett had been born in the third world, it's certain that such great achievements wouldn't have been possible. But there are so many white people in America. Why Buffett and not someone else? Luck cannot be changed. But we can change other things. This video is about these things. Let's start with the resource providers. As a resource owner, the most important thing if you want to make money is talent. For example, Cristiano Ronaldo and Messi. These are all very talented football players. Messi used to earn 40 million euros a year at Barcelona. Plus endorsements and such. Earning over $1 billion RMB a year is no problem. A player without talent. No matter how hard I try, I can't reach their level. Besides sports, other professions that require talent include esports, art, performance, singing, scientific research, and so on. Even being good-looking is a talent. Good looks are largely determined by genetics, especially in the internet age. as long as you're good looking. It perfectly matches the aesthetic preferences of the general public. Even if he has no talent at all. It can also attract a lot of attention and be used to monetize it. How can you determine if you have talent? Personally, I think, if you were under 20 years old, he did not display any extraordinary talent or achievements. You basically have no talent. There's a famous chicken soup saying, the low level of effort of most people. It's not time to rely on talent yet. Actually, that's not the case. The low level of talent in most people. It's not time to compete like this yet. One of my favorite anime series. There's a line in The Wind Blows that says, believing that as long as you work hard, you will succeed. It's actually just arrogance. I used to want to write a novel. Because writing books is actually a good business. After spending time writing it out, as long as it sells well, authors can keep making money. Jin Yong, J.K. Rowling, Tolkien. They've all made countless fortunes through novel copyrights. Moreover, it can bring immense fame and honor. This is also important. Many people spend their whole lives pursuing this. How did I eventually give up on that idea? At the time, I was a big fan of Camus' Stranger. That's a first-person novel. So I also wrote a first-person perspective. But no matter how I read it, it just doesn't feel right. I'll compare what I've written with what outsiders have said. I've finally figured out the problem. I am the first-person protagonist. When I met a woman, I actually wrote down that woman's inner thoughts directly. Everyone should know that this is impossible. A person can see other people's micro-expressions. Seeing other people's body language. You absolutely cannot read someone's rich inner thoughts at a glance. I made such a huge mistake in my first attempt at writing. When I retract my God's perspective. When only limited information that the main character can see can be written. I found this really difficult to write. What is this called? That's what you call lacking talent. Camus wrote The Stranger when he was only 26 years old. I was already 22 at the time. I still want to write books. But it's the kind of writing that sells well. As for the dream of writing novels, I've decided to wait until I'm financially independent before making a decision. Because I want to use this talent to support myself by writing novels. It's like making a joke out of your own people. Those really awesome writers. Their talent and desire to express themselves are simply uncontrollable. Basically in their early teens. They can already write very impressive things. Without talent. He also wanted to make a fortune by being a volunteer. You need fame. Why do so many celebrities lack both acting and singing skills? How can you still make so much money? When your fame is big enough, you can get the reward of passion. Many people probably think this is quite unfair, right? Those with strong business skills. Real actors and singers. He earned less money than a popular celebrity. Just take on an endorsement and you'll have more. This is the clown in the palace. The master is wandering. However, fame inherently possesses intrinsic value. So many companies spend so much money on advertising every year. The goal is to increase fame. If you already have fame, there is market demand for you. You're naturally worth that much money. Some people, even without any talent. She's not good looking either. He has no talent. But by expressing extremely extreme views, forcing everyone to either like him or hate him, it can also garner a huge amount of attention. He's getting so many endorsements he can't even count them all. This is why there is an increasing amount of extreme rhetoric online. Because mediocre remarks cannot bring quick fame. Although it's unfair. But we must respect the diversity of this world. If only looks. Does business acumen, a natural talent, determine the level of attention? Most people will never get ahead in their lifetime. And it is precisely because of this diversity. Only then will we have a chance to win. For example, becoming a content creator, UP. The income of a successful self-media creator is currently very distorted. It's not a secret. But actually, my writing skills are pretty bad. Writing doesn't necessarily guarantee victory. Making it into a video chat makes all the difference. Many people may find my way of speaking to be approachable. Northerners have a stronger talent for becoming content creators. It's a complete bloodline suppression for us. Their speech is naturally funny. People watch videos to have fun, right? An interesting speaker becomes a content creator. It is very likely that he will succeed faster than a top scholar. A cute and quirky streamer with great comedic effect. They are also very likely to succeed faster than those who have studied acting professionally. Whether you want to do live streaming or become a content creator, I suggest you first test whether you have audience appeal. Especially on platforms like Bilibili, which are relatively inclusive. Music section, craft section, and even a pure chat section. All kinds of videos have the potential to become famous. And don't think it's difficult. When I first started as a content creator, I spent a whole day watching tutorials on Bilibili. Then I bought a microphone and started making it right away. The barrier to entry for becoming a content creator is now lower. Bilibili officially released an app called Bijian. Not only is the user interface clear, it is also very simple to use. They also recently launched a text-to-video function. You can directly type in the text. Then you can quickly generate text and video by choosing a template. It can automatically read aloud for you. This short section of content was created using this feature. Adjusting the font, background, images, and background music is also very convenient. Very friendly to authors with text content like me. Everyone can give it a try. There's also a 2022 lifestyle mini-drama event now. I edited videos using B-Movie and uploaded them to Bilibili during winter break. You can get a pretty good bonus. That's also a way to make money. Then someone might ask, besides his exceptional talent and immense fame, how else can I make money? Besides that, all you do is go to work. But this is a very difficult road to success. You can roughly calculate how much money you'd need for the kind of life you envision. A house worth 8 million. Even if you earn 10,000 a month. Without food or water, not a penny. It would take 66 years to afford it. Moreover, if a person's entire life is confined to a single house, that's so pathetic. You must like luxury cars, right? The cheapest Ferrari, even after all the fuss in Rome, costs at least 3.5 million. If you are getting married, that's also a considerable expense. Also need to support parents and children. This will cost a lot of money. Whether you're a programmer, a teacher, or a doctor. No matter what your job makes you feel interesting. Or does it still make you feel bored? As long as you choose to go to work, your income has a cap. Why? Because the most unfair thing about working is, entrepreneurs pay us based on time. No matter how outstanding your abilities are, you have to link your income sources to your time. Time is a universal law. We cannot control time. Even if you work 996, 12 hours a day, you can't possibly work 120 hours a day, right? Since it is impossible. Your income cannot increase tenfold in a short period of time. Of course, some salaried workers resort to various tricks. For example, dawdling at work for 10 hours. 9 hours of paid poop. Work 1 hour. This way, you'll still get paid for working 10 hours. This is equivalent to a tenfold increase in salary. Or rather, constantly changing jobs. Find a new boss and offer a higher price, etc. But none of this worked. Because you are always selling your time. Have you ever seen someone get paid to poop? Can it lead to financial freedom? No, right? You are a teacher with a monthly salary of 10,000 yuan. This income is very high. But in other words, it actually means You have a job with an annual salary of 120,000. And your working years cannot exceed your life expectancy. Most people will probably only work for 50 years in their lifetime. This is why salaried workers can never earn a lot of money. Your teaching ability is outstanding or mediocre. Does it matter? It doesn't matter at all. As a content creator, if a video posted on Bilibili only gets 100,000 views, I only have 300 yuan. If my video gets 2 million views, then I can get 6,000 yuan. Although it's not a lot of money, but at least this payment method is fair. The teacher produced 3 students with excellent grades, or teach 20 students with excellent grades. His salary will not change much. Both are 10,000 per month. At most, the performance is a little better. You can get a small bonus, or something like an outstanding teacher selection. Insignificant honors. In other words, how much compensation do salaried workers receive? It has nothing to do with how much value they create. Some people say my income isn't fixed. My salary will increase. Or rather, I became a senior executive in a company. He might even become CEO. A pay rise is definitely in the works. But what's the point of getting a 10 to 20% raise after working for a few years? It hasn't even risen as fast as inflation. Your income is still forcibly linked to time. The essence will not change. Secondly, the criteria for becoming a senior executive also depend on the company. Executives at big companies like Tencent and Alibaba naturally have high salaries. But so many internet companies were eliminated. It came out last. Tencent and Alibaba. You're going to join a startup team. How can we ensure that this team can grow stronger in the future? If you go directly to a large company, how could someone possibly rise directly to a senior management position? But after all, there are always 1 or 2 winners in every lottery draw. It is indeed possible to become rich, but the probability is too low. Moreover, large companies all have a set of unspoken rules. My first job was selling cosmetics. I served a customer at that time. I want to buy an eyeliner. If the deal goes through, I'll get a 10 yuan commission. I chatted with that customer for a long time. Finally, the store manager who was mentoring me picked up the conversation. Then he naturally took over the business. He ultimately closed the deal. Even small shops run by just a few people can experience this situation. The same principle applies to large companies as well. If you have a really awesome idea, you need to report to your team leader first. Your team leader then reports to his leader. Finally, it awaits review from the heads of the legal department and the finance department. After doing this and that, even if this idea eventually comes to fruition, this led to a surge in performance. You won't get a promotion or a raise. Why? Because by then, this idea will have come from those leaders. This is considered a slightly better situation. Most companies have very bureaucratic leadership. They won't care about your thoughts at all. They just want you to work obediently. Many people go to work for stability. Just drift through life. You can get a guaranteed minimum income on your own. Income and insurance, etc. The boss bore all the risks. How awesome. This is how I see this issue. Fear of risk is itself a great risk in your life. The company made money. What does a boss think? His first thought was how to get that profit into his own pocket. The next thing I thought about was how to distribute profits to shareholders. Then I thought about how the company could expand further. Use the profits to hire more people. Buy more excellent equipment. As an employee, you are the last to receive a share of the profits. The value you painstakingly created. It turned into Moutai and champagne at the boss's dinner party. As the last person to be paid. Do you think you have any bargaining power? Secondly, if the company's operations encounter risks, there is no profit. The company must be thinking about firing you. Why? Because you were the last to be paid. As I just mentioned, your life expectancy is approximately 50 years. But think about it. Companies that have existed in this world for more than 50 years. How many are there? There is no risk in going to work. It's out of the question. Furthermore, we cannot resist technological advancements. After the completion of basic education in school, people will study a major in order to find a job. Several of my good friends studied cooking. I didn't know anything back then. Unable to find a job. So poor they couldn't afford to eat. Those friends who work as chefs earn $4,000 to $5,000 a month. I'm very anxious. Because they all got a secure job. After all, everyone needs to eat out. But I can't even afford the tuition for cooking school. Feeling lost. But now they are basically all unemployed. Why? I'll talk to you later. In short, you can consider whether being a resource provider is right for you. If it's not suitable, you can start thinking about how to be an entrepreneur. What does an entrepreneur need? I think there are only two. 1. Entrepreneurial mindset. 2. Execution. That's enough. Everything else is meaningless. Unfortunately, most people do not possess an entrepreneurial mindset. It's a consumer mindset. What's the difference between these two? Let me give you an example. There's a product that's very popular right now. Overwhelming advertisements. What are your thoughts on this product? Most people are thinking about whether or not they should buy it. Or what use would buying this be to me? Or perhaps you dislike the advertisement. I hate this product. This is called consumer thinking. People with a business value mindset. He will consider what the product cost. How does this company make money? Why did his advertisement spread so quickly? What are the business processes of this company? Let me give you a more specific example. I've been working out at the gym lately. Everyone drinks protein powder. This comes in all sorts of flavors. Strawberry, vanilla, and cocoa flavors. Then you put this in a shaker cup, add water, shake it, and drink it directly. However, it has a drawback. If you don't wash your cup after drinking, there will be a foul stench the next day. Even after washing, this smell will remain. I hear them complaining about this almost every day. An idea immediately came to me. Can I make disposable protein powder? The kind of cup you throw away after drinking. I actually checked on Taobao. This product was not found. Then I looked up how this powdered medicine is made. The principle is actually very simple. It is the spray drying process. Liquid protein extract. Shot out of the spray dryer. Once the moisture evaporates, it turns into powder. Next, I'm going to do an experiment using those disposable cups that McDonald's use for Coke. It was discovered that as long as a little force was applied, the cup shattered when shaken. What if we used a more stable material to make disposable cups? The cost is too high. A large tub of protein powder costs 300 yuan and contains the same amount. I need to make 50 or 60 cups, the production and shipping costs are too high. So I rejected this idea. Secondly, protein powder regardless of flavor. Actually, they all taste terrible. A person at the gym told me a trick. Protein powder tastes great when mixed with milk. I tried it and it really tastes good. It tastes exactly like milk tea. Then I thought, can I dry milk into powder? Sold together with protein powder. But the idea only lasted a minute. I rejected it. Because I realized, isn't that just baby formula? I later learned that protein powder is actually milk after it has been made into cheese. Made with leftover whey. So it's only 300 yuan for a big bucket, that's so cheap. My idea is actually like taking off your pants to fart. But it doesn't matter. At least I'm evaluating a product using an entrepreneurial mindset. The entire thought process took no more than an hour. I also learned a lot of new knowledge. Most people with a consumerist mindset don't think this far ahead. They only care about the taste. Which brand is cheaper? Let me give you another example of making money using this mindset. I played a game when I was in my early 20s. When that game first came out, there was no pity system for gacha pulls. If you have bad luck, you can live without leaving the house for tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of yuan. I've heard a lot of people complaining about this. I grasped the demand. I calculated the average cost to pay. So I set a price higher than this average. Drawing on behalf of others. I'll charge you 1,500 yuan to help me draw one. If you're lucky, I can earn 850 yuan from a single order of 648. I made 204 yuan from 2 orders. If I place 3 orders, I will lose 444 yuan. And so on. Most orders are shipped out in about 2 orders. On average, I can earn around 400 yuan per order. After I listed this service on Taobao, the place was packed with people seeking advice. Because I said, some people can't even afford to spend tens of thousands of yuan. Those people spend money to participate in the lottery. I have no confidence. They thought my price was reasonable. Why am I willing to accept this service for 1,500? Because I discovered the pattern. When you don't get the desired item from the gacha pulls in that game, no matter how hard you try, you won't get it. Shipments are often released in bursts all at once. I suspect the game is about a pool of resources. But regardless of how his code was written, all you need to do to draw cards is wait patiently. In other words, you just wait and see others get their items before you start drawing them. Use this method. It's almost impossible for a shipment worth tens of thousands of yuan to fail to arrive. Do you know what this business model is? This is the business model of insurance. I incorporated it into the game. So I mechanically drew lots for everyone. For the first 2 weeks, I slept only 2 or 3 hours almost every day. You can earn around 3,000 to 5,000 yuan a day. But after all, it's a gacha game. There's still an element of luck involved. The worst deal I ever lost was 30,000 yuan. I was quickly restricted. Still the same reason. Even if customers have to wait in line to get an appointment with me. But I can only work a maximum of 10 odd hours a day to help people. However, drawing a prize takes a lot of time. There is a daily limit to the number of orders you can accept. What's the most frustrating thing? Many people don't like to confirm receipt when using Taobao. Then Taobao will keep your money safe for you. They will automatically confirm receipt after 15 days. The money will then go to your Alipay account. But when I help others participate in lotteries, I have to pay for the lottery myself. My savings were emptied instantly. I borrowed tens of thousands of yuan from my family. It was filled in immediately. Still not enough. I simply can't continue this business. What should we do? I need a business system. I wrote the lottery method into a guide. Selling for 20 yuan in a Taobao store. Taobao is where other people place orders. You need to go to the back end and click Ship. We also need to send them the strategy guide. The process is very complex. I spent another 20 yuan to buy an automatic delivery program. Then upload the strategy guide to the cloud drive. After someone else buys it, the program automatically clicked Ship for me. Automatically send him the cloud drive address. I don't need to worry about anything anymore. This is an automated business system. When this guide was at its most popular, 1,000 servings can be sold per day. My daily income quickly reached 20,000 yuan. And I can continue to use the free time to draw for others. I earned over 200,000 yuan that month. But this sound obviously won't last long. Because a group of people are playing this game. One of them will share it with their friends after buying it. There are also many pirated versions. Because the cost of piracy is too low. I've discussed this in detail in previous videos. This guide will soon no longer be a rarity, although it only lasted a few months. But in the end, I still made about 1.5 million through that game. Let's break it down in detail. Why was this business successful? My profit is simple. It is sales volume multiplied by sales revenue. Selling 10,000 copies would be 200,000 renminbi. Selling 20,000 copies would amount to 400,000 renminbi. Have you all noticed? I have been freed from time. I have already achieved economies of scale. What kind of business model is working for someone else? Profit is your salary multiplied by time. Can you control your salary? That's the time controlled by the boss. Can you control it? That's the law of the universe. Working a job will never generate economies of scale. What is entrepreneurial mindset? Don't think about what you need. We need to consider what others need. Then see if you can make money by exploiting other people's needs. Do not buy products. Go sell products. Don't believe the advertisements. Everyone goes to see the ads and analyzes them. Don't blindly trust a company. Everyone should analyze this company. Don't believe in those, harvesting, a Chinese idiom referring to exploiting people, concepts. But we need to analyze those concepts of harvesting leaks, exploiting retail investors. The concept of the metaverse is now being criticized by almost all netizens. I've noticed that people almost subconsciously reject this thing. And I studied it immediately. Indeed, many companies want to use this concept to fleece consumers. But it's NFT technology. It is a very promising application. I made my analysis into a video. Currently, this is the most viewed video about the metaverse on the entire internet. This video has received recognition from many industry professionals. Many companies working on metaverse immediately contacted me. I also received 2 requests. I was invited to give a lecture by 2 major internet companies. Educate their employees about this concept. I can get 80,000 yuan for giving a speech. I accept. However, it was cancelled due to the pandemic. I think if you can achieve this kind of entrepreneurial mindset, encountering concepts you don't understand, go analyze, study and learn immediately. Making big money isn't far away. What I just said about selling strategy guides is a quick way to make money, but it's not a sustainable business model. But you'll find that the proxy draw is equivalent to insurance in the gaming world. It's actually a business model with a fairly good profit margin. Unfortunately, I was too young back then. I don't understand anything. If it were me now, I will recruit a team immediately. Expand this business. Eventually, it was even developed into a website app, specializing in this service. Later games like FGO, Genshin Impact, and various other gacha games. I can do this business. Then use the substantial profits to secure financing. Finally, I sold the company. It should be able to sell for at least several million or even tens of millions, no problem. This proxy lottery service is still popular. However, all of these jobs were taken over by the live streamers. The fact that a popular streamer draws cards is inherently entertaining. Secondly, live-streamed card drawing can get viewers hooked and participate in the card drawing activity. Game companies are very willing to let top streamers draw cards. They will also receive subsidies. They also receive income from gifts, etc. Their costs are much lower than mine. If I do end up starting a company, my company will definitely be crushed by the rising streamers. But it doesn't matter. Don't think that starting a business means either succeeding or failing. Either fail. Then I realized that most startups fail. Therefore, starting a business is a gamble that can result in losing everything. Remember, although most people fail when starting a business, but they've already profited and exited during this process. It's not about doing something. Only those who come from large companies like Tencent and Alibaba can be considered successful entrepreneurs. Why is starting a business so painful for so many people? Because they don't call it entrepreneurship. They call it pointless meddling. For example, someone suddenly and inexplicably opens a restaurant. This person's motives are nothing more than these few points. I like to eat. And they felt that owning a restaurant was prestigious. You can also be your own boss. No need to go to work. Opening a restaurant is indeed doing business. Profit equals sales volume multiplied by sales revenue. The problem is that the sales volume ceiling is too low. A restaurant can only cover one community. How many dishes can you sell in a day? This has limitations. No matter how hard your chefs and servers work. It is also impossible to break through this limitation. How can I sell thousands or even tens of thousands of dishes of vegetables a day? You can open a chain store. However, the problem with chain stores is so many chefs. Unstable performance. The food at the branch might be absolutely awful. The brand was ruined. So someone came up with this method. All dishes are produced in the central kitchen. Delivered to branch. The branches simply heat it up and serve it. Or it could be delivered as takeout. This can indeed easily create economies of scale. The money earned was significantly more than opening a restaurant serving the entire community. That's why you see all the restaurants have closed down now. They all turned into hot pot skewers. This type of takeout, which doesn't require a chef, has all been transformed into ready-to-eat meals. So all my chef friends lost their jobs. Similar unprofitable businesses. Other options include opening gyms, cafes, bars, milk tea shops, nail salons, and so on. Most people who open these shops do so because they want to do what they love. People who own gyms like to work out. People who own coffee shops like to drink coffee. Do what you love. It can definitely fill you with passion. But millions of people also enjoy fitness. I also like to drink coffee. How can you stand out? Consumers won't pay you for your hobbies. Consumers will only pay you if you solve their needs. Ultimately, those who made a fortune through these methods. All of them have achieved economies of scale. For example, those that operate chain stores or franchises. Even the money raised through IPOs isn't from you joining other people's businesses. Instead, let others join. This is how you make money. Of course, I'm making it simple. Many problems will certainly arise in practice. For example, if you want to start a company. What to do about finance? What should the legal department do? These are all a lot of problems. You need to know that when you become a boss and hire people. But it's equivalent to buying someone else's time. How can we make good use of it? Management is another huge challenge. This requires the entrepreneur's second skill, execution. Let me tell you about the background of this video. A fan contacted me a couple of days ago. He told me he spent 1,000 yuan to enroll in a self-improvement course. So how did the professor teach that course? Play my videos directly from Bilibili. He felt like he'd been fleeced. After I received the message from this fan, I was planning to make a video criticizing these paid knowledge services. Later, it turned out that this topic wasn't very interesting. Many people buy those courses. The motivation is simply to learn how to improve oneself, how to make money, etc. I might as well make a video about making money. One thing I don't understand is, why do so many people always need guidance before they start taking action? I have another friend who isn't very wealthy. But I like writing. I just want to create some content through video production. And then make some money. So he saved up for several months. I spent 8,888 yuan to purchase a self-media course. I was furious when I saw that course. It was almost entirely sewn together. And they are all outdated. He is a blogger on a short video platform. The blogger who bought the account only had 40,000 followers. I'm curious. I asked him, do you want to become a self-media creator? Why not just start doing it? He said I don't know how. I don't know anything about shooting or editing. I said, then ask me. I'm a top 100 YouTuber, after all. Although it's outdated. He has at least 2 million followers. He said that course seemed more specialized. What made him feel this way? It's an outrageous price of 8,888 yuan. And various sales pitches. There was another boy who was even more outrageous. He spent 10 yuan to buy an introductory version of a financial management course. It's nothing more than stories about compound interest. He found it fascinating. But if you want to see more, you have to pay more money. So he paid 16,800. Get the basic version. Another 36,800 was paid. Get the premium version. I watched the basic version he bought for 30 minutes. Then tell him. This is practically like reading the entire book, The Richest Dog in Babylon. He went to WeChat to read. After reading that book, I found that it was indeed true. Then I applied for a refund. I've been arguing with their customer service for months. As for what the advanced version covers, it means he needs to recruit others to buy this advanced course. He can get a 25% rebate. I suggested he stop arguing with customer service. It's better to go directly to the police station. I don't object to everyone learning. However, courses with excessively high prices are 100% guaranteed. Harvesting leaks. Why is it so expensive? Because pricing itself is a form of advertising strategy for them. It makes you feel like this course is something really amazing. It means that as soon as you obtain the 9-yin manual, you will immediately achieve great mastery of divine skills. I think that based on the current price level in China, a reasonable course price should not exceed 300 yuan. Moreover, you're finding someone who makes a fortune selling courses to learn how to make money. Isn't this a joke? They sell courses, give lectures, and stitch things together every day. Besides that, they had no practical business experience. Otherwise, what's the secret to making money? He won't do it himself, he'll teach you. This is also why there is not much correlation between wealth and education level. No matter how good the school you attend, all the teachers who teach you are selling their time for a paycheck. Since his skills were insufficient for him to retaliate. Of course, I can't teach you how to take revenge. I'm not saying you shouldn't study. On the contrary, studying is the most important thing. Education and making money are indeed not that closely related. Note my choice of words. Learning is important. But education is not important. Every year during the middle school and college entrance exams, I receive a ton of private messages. Many people failed the exam. They came to me to confide in me because they felt like the sky was falling. Actually, it's unnecessary. True learning can only ever be your own responsibility. It has absolutely nothing to do with which school you attend. Moreover, some students from prestigious universities. I stopped learning anything immediately after graduating from university. This is the most dangerous situation. So how do we learn? Don't be fooled by those expensive courses that promise to fleece you. If you are willing to learn, the cheapest way is to buy books. Believe me, you can find all the known knowledge in this world in this book. Pay attention. I'm referring to all books. This is amazing. But there are even cheaper ways to learn, free of charge. Moreover, the learning effect is better than reading books. This method is practice. Don't think about buying a bunch of books to read. Make thorough preparations before going into actual combat. Regardless of the field. You go do it for a few months. You can definitely become a near expert in this field. The experience gained is more valuable than reading books for a year. That 8,888 yuan self-media course. Most of their students actually thought it was very professional. But why did I feel angry after seeing it? Because I'm currently a self-media creator. I know he's talking complete nonsense. This includes some lengthy financial articles on Bilibili. Bilibili is a Chinese video sharing website, that are tens of thousands of words long. I could tell at a glance that what they were saying was nonsense. Even if they are professional financial writers. But even if I just write something, it'll definitely be more professional than theirs. Because they haven't personally been part of the Bilibili ecosystem. Even our own opinions need to be revised frequently. They often make mistakes. How could other people's opinions be completely correct? The wisest philosopher in the world is Socrates. One of his famous quotes is, "I only know one thing. That means I know nothing." Even the wisest people think they are ignorant. How can you expect someone else to teach you? As for you not knowing this or that, just learn by doing. You'll find your progress is incredibly rapid by then. Finally, let's talk about how capitalists make money. And how can we achieve financial freedom? The principle behind how capitalists make money is even simpler, summarized in one sentence. All you need to do is become a creditor. What is a creditor? You deposit 10,000 yuan in the bank. You are the bank's creditor. This 10,000 yuan is a debt owed to you by the bank. It requires you to pay interest. Banks now offer a large denomination certificate of deposit service. The annualized interest rate is approximately 4%. It means you deposit 10 million. You can earn around 400,000 in interest each year. I was once deeply brainwashed by consumerism. The belief is that you can only make money if you spend money. Don't spend money recklessly. Where does the motivation to make money come from? Therefore, I bought a lot of luxury goods. Many people still think this way. For example, it's Chinese New Year. Treat yourself to a gift for a year of hard work. So I went to buy a watch for 10,000 yuan. That was his entire month's salary. And a capitalist with 10 million in savings. Buying this watch requires no labor. He still has 390,000 yuan left in interest this year. Not only that, his initial investment of 10 million yuan remained untouched. What is financial freedom? Financial freedom is actually related to your spending habits. When your expenses are covered by your passive income. This is financial freedom. For example, if you spend 300,000 yuan a year, but you have 10 million in your bank account, the bank generates 400,000 in passive income for you every year. You no longer need to sell your time for money. Do whatever you want. But the question is there a limit to consumption? No. The house costs a little over 1 million. There are tens of millions. There are also hundreds of millions. The same goes for cars. There are also private jets, yachts, luxury watches, and haute couture. Several bottles of wine costing 100,000 each. In other words, a person who consumes without restraint. Financial freedom is impossible. You never thought about how much money you would earn in the future when you were a child. When I was in vocational school, I tell myself every day that I want to become a millionaire someday. Most of my classmates think I'm a daydreaming idiot. They subconsciously thought that 1 million was an unattainable number. But I achieved this within 2 or 3 years after graduating from vocational school. What are my thoughts after I finished this? 1 million is far too little. It simply cannot withstand the test of time. So don't think that earning 1 million or 10 million is enough. Or 100 million would be enough. If you are a very ambitious person, these are not enough for you. We often see some cases online. Some star players with outrageously high incomes. Celebrities quickly fall back into poverty after their retirement expires. Why is that? Because they do not generate passive income. Financial planning is zero. Too strong a desire to consume. Money can have a very strong backlash effect. If you don't have the ability to control money, you will be quickly attacked. I've made way too many videos about consumerism. I'm too lazy to repeat those concepts again. Maintain a balance and don't lose your way. You only need to firmly believe in 2 ideas. First idea. You need to have confidence. compared to the money you will earn in the future. Your current money is nothing at all. So don't waste time trying to save money. For example, a restaurant offers half-price food today. You think it's a great deal? Then you have to queue for 2 hours. I really want to read a certain book. Buy a certain electronic product. But I don't want to buy it at the original price. I've been waiting for a discount. Spend time every day checking for discounts. If you believe you can get rich, then your time is far more valuable than the money you save. Otherwise, your actions and thoughts are inconsistent. People with wavering resolve are unlikely to become wealthy. Second idea. If buying something requires you to think about it for a long time, you just can't afford it. When I was in elementary school, I took the bus to and from school by myself. But I have a sweet tooth. Sometimes I still have $1 for bus fare after school. I'll think for a long time about whether or not to use it to buy snacks. If you bought snacks, then it will take me an hour to walk home. But I often do these stupid things. We're practically incapable of thinking about spending a single dollar these days. But many people are still doing the same stupid things. For example, when you first start working, I want a phone that costs over 10,000 yuan. Then save several months' salary. Even borrowing consumer loans to buy mobile phones. For example, buying a car to save face. I feel my career is on the rise. I should be able to afford the 3-year car loan. For example, the pressure to buy a house is what motivates people to earn money. Besides, there's the chance of a promotion and a raise later, right? Then take on a 30-year mortgage. So how should we spend our money? It means you don't need to think at all. Pay directly and leave. This is what you can afford. Pay attention. Large items like cars. Housing, a basic necessity, is included. For example, I really like cars. The Panamera is definitely my dream car. I used to think this car was out of reach. I can actually pay in full and take delivery of the car now. And they can afford to raise them. But I still won't buy it. Because I would think, what if my income declines in the future? Could this money be used to do more? Maybe I'll regret buying this car in the future. These reflections of mine are actually a form of self-warning. If you can't afford it, don't even think about it. Besides, I've been trying to get my driver's license for 45 years and still haven't passed. I'll consider this equipment if I can pass the exam. Many people say, but I still want to buy a house. This is a basic need. I can't get married without buying a house. Moreover, houses are assets that can appreciate in value. I can even make a profit after I buy it. Yes, houses do have financial attributes. But look at your own thoughts and see if they contradict each other. On the one hand, you believe that housing is a basic necessity. On the one hand, I want it to appreciate in value and make money. If its value increases, can you sell it? Dare to sell? Those who truly make money through real estate investment. We will carefully study the policies, location, and rent-to-price ratio. Secondly, buying a house will not put much of a burden on his cash flow. This is what investment should be. Why is it not advisable to buy things beyond your means? Because once you take on the burden, your attention, your time is completely taken over. Financial freedom. Financial freedom is not about wealth itself. Rather, freedom. You generate income by selling your time. Then go overspending. Then they were forced to sell more time to pay off their debts. Because of debt, you dare not resign. I don't dare to lose my job. They also dared not make investments. You earn money to live a luxurious life. In order to live a luxurious life, and must earn more money. Is it even possible to be free in this kind of life? The more debt you have, the less likely you are to be free. We are no longer trapped in consumerism. What to do with the money saved? Investing is all you need. What I just mentioned was buying large denomination bank certificates of deposit. It's a low-interest but stable investment method. Investing is too difficult. We need a lifetime to learn from a video. It's simply impossible to explain clearly. So I'll still talk about two very basic principles. First, we need to understand what capital is. Is 100,000 yuan considered capital? 10 million? Or rather, several hundred million is what constitutes capital. It's not actually capital. It has nothing to do with funds. Capital is only related to the duration of fund use. We often see it in the news. People with billions or tens of billions of dollars in assets went bankrupt overnight. Why did they go bankrupt? You have 500 million. But it has to be returned to the owner after 1 year. This is not capital. You have 5,000 yuan. But it's fine even if you never use it for the rest of your life. This is what capital is all about. Let me give you an example. I was playing CS:GO around 2017. At that time, I predicted that many gun skins would increase in price. I won't go into the analysis process. In short, I bought 100,000 yuan worth of skins. That was all my funds at the time. It later dropped by about 10%. I sold them all. Because I can't stand losses. It is now 2022. Those skins are from the price I bought them for. All have increased to more than 6 times. And the same error. I made the same mistake with Bitcoin. I bought Bitcoin at $5,000. When it dropped to 4,500, I sold all my shares. The current price is around $40,000. I don't deserve to eat these price increases. The reason is simple. I put all my money in. I would not be able to accept losing money. I would think I could use this money for something else. In other words, their usage time is not unlimited. I invested in stocks again last year. I won't specify which stocks. I lost 300,000 yuan within a few days of buying it. But I didn't do anything. By October, I earned 800,000 in 1 month. I still haven't taken any action. I've now lost all of my 800,000 yuan profit. I lost over 300,000 yuan. I lost a total of over 1 million. I still haven't done anything. The reason is simple. First, I believe this company has the potential to grow in the future. Second, I can keep this money for the rest of my life. Is there any chance that this money will be lost completely? Yes, what if the company is poorly managed and delisted? I've lost everything. But it would be a lie to say I wasn't upset. During the period when I lost more than 1 million, another stock appeared in the A-share market. The price is 6 yuan. I also think it's very promising. But I didn't buy it. As a result, by November, it rose to 88 yuan in just 1 month. In other words, it increased more than tenfold in 1 month. You made over 100,000 yuan on a 10,000 yuan investment. If you bought 1 million worth of goods, you would now be a multimillionaire. I regret not buying this speculative stock. But what I regret even more is, why didn't I save more money? Got it? Saving money is like saving bullets. When the opportunity comes, you'll have the bullets to shoot. Furthermore, it's best not to invest full-time. You need to have a continuous source of income. Some people say that stock trading is just gambling. Actually, they are different. I've explained gambling in my previous gambling videos. It's impossible to win money in any form of gambling. You will definitely lose in the long run. In the long run, the market will continue to rise. The logic is very simple. The government will keep printing money. The economy will continue to develop. Economic development is reflected in enterprises. A company's value is reflected in the stock market. Therefore, buying index funds is actually a good option. However, if you want to make money, you need to do it in units of 5 or 10 years. Gambling is a game of probability. Investing requires your own analysis, including one's own logic. As for how to analyze it, due to limited video length, I can't elaborate. But many people ask me about stocks. Their question is as follows. How can I open an account? How can I buy Hong Kong and US stocks? What does price-to-earnings ratio mean? I have only one thing to say about this kind of person. You will lose money. Stop playing this. Why? Because if he had even the slightest analytical ability, this most basic question, he will study it himself. You're not even willing to study this most basic question. Do you still dare to buy stocks? Pure chives. You might as well just gamble. No need to suffer. It will be all gone very soon. Therefore, there are two principles to investing. First, obtain a sum of money that won't affect your fundamentals. Unlimited usage time and money. Second, analyze using your own logic. Why do most retail investors only end up being exploited? Because they violated the second principle. No analysis at all. Only chasing the rising prices and killing the enemy. However, even the most detailed analysis can never be perfect. Black swan events still exist in this world. For example, war broke out. Or the company's capable leader suddenly passed away. There are also political factors, natural disasters, etc. How could you possibly analyze all of this? We can only analyze the general direction. And it is impossible to accurately predict the market. Therefore, never over-leverage. Never use leverage. This is also several billion. Why can people with billions in assets go bankrupt overnight? Because they violated the first principle. If you are still afraid and unable to accept any losses, then buy stable financial products. For example, bank deposits, etc. As long as you have enough principle. Financial freedom is also possible. Moreover, the power of compound interest is very strong. Let's summarize here. First of all, only 3 identities can earn money: resource owners, entrepreneurs, and capitalists. As a resource owner, want to make big money? You need extremely high talent or a huge reputation. Talent cannot be compensated for by hard work. Most people don't have much talent either. And you have the potential to gain immense fame. In the past, the way to gain fame was by participating in talent shows. The best way to gain fame now is to become a self-media creator, content creator, or streamer, etc. If you want to become a content creator, I highly recommend this Mustcut app and its submission campaign again. Apart from that, resource holders can only work. But working for someone else is the path furthest from getting rich quick. Because you've linked wealth with time. Time cannot be artificially adjusted. As an entrepreneur, entrepreneurial mindset is needed. Discover other people's needs. Don't do business based on your own preferences. Develop your business model after identifying the demand. This business model must free you from time constraints. And try to influence a sufficiently large population. As long as economies of scale are generated, only then can you earn a lot of money. Finally, you don't need to learn to do something. Learning by doing is the fastest way. Education is not important. Learning is important. The best learning comes from free practice. Secondly, reading books. You don't need to buy any course that costs more than 300. Capitalists are those who make money from money. When a creditor, don't fall into consumerism. You need to stockpile your own ammunition. If you need to consider whether you can afford something, that means they can't afford it. Borrowing money could cost you financial freedom. Investment must not violate 2 principles. First, do not over-leverage. Second, learn to analyze on your own. When your funds are large enough, even with stable financial management, financial freedom is achievable. No matter how eloquently I speak, only a small percentage of people in this world can ever become wealthy. Moreover, my video is also very general. It's impossible to consider everyone's situation. For example, a teacher has elderly parents and young children to care for, earning a living on wages. Then, after watching my video, he quit his job and started his own business. I lost everything. I cannot bear this responsibility. You need to figure out how to do it yourself. Then take responsibility for your actions. If I were in this situation, maybe I won't resign. But I won't just drift through each day. I might try to improve the quality of my courses, even specifically teaching those who don't learn well. Children with poor concentration. Perhaps my teaching methods are popular. Then I will consider, could I publish a book about my teaching method? Or you can go online and create your own media to teach others. Or how to improve a child's lack of concentration. Publish a paid course book specifically for parents. Although I sell my time to earn a salary and support my family, on the one hand, they are also looking for their own business model. But during my studies, I encountered many teachers who just coasted through their time. They are unwilling to improve teaching quality. Even if there are 30 students, all 20 are sleeping. They also recited those things verbatim from the textbook on the podium. What business is it of theirs whether students get good grades or not? They work for a paycheck. My English is not good, but I studied very hard for one exam. He later scored very high marks. My teacher called me into the hallway. They asked me directly if I had cheated. I was forced to admit that I cheated. To be honest, this kind of teacher, I think I'll probably only ever be able to earn a salary for the rest of my life. That's pretty much the end of the video. I'm not the type to get upset about income. People who advocate unlimited inequality. But this is the model the world is currently developing in. But those who advocate for absolute income equality, it also has problems. Because their motive was not justice, but jealousy. He demanded that no one else could receive more than him, to protect oneself from the torment of jealousy. Anyone who gets even a little more than him, he would lose his sense of security. Many people are concerned about freedom. There is an inexplicable fear of having control. Because we were controlled by our parents and schools from a young age, we are used to a lack of freedom. Therefore, many people experience this during the period after leaving school and entering society. I feel extremely confused. But it's important to understand that financial freedom is primarily about freedom. Everyone who can get rich, they all have a strong desire for freedom and control. They don't want their income to be controlled by their boss and their time. So I went to start a business. Even if the startup is successful, they are concerned about the instability of their business model. There is also a great sense of anxiety. This will create more and more moats for their business. Investing is also. They don't want their investments to be swayed by the opinions of others. Therefore, I will do my own analysis and due diligence. They don't want to be left behind by a world that's changing too fast. Therefore, I will keep learning. And this is the mindset of many people who can't make money. My parents gave me a poor family. My boss fired me. My friend lied to me. My landlord is too greedy. They want to raise my rent. All in all, they willingly relinquished control to others. On the one hand, he always thinks he is a victim, even until they are in their 40s or 50s, still blaming luck and society. My family is considered to be in the very poor category. I used to be chubby and very sensitive to heat. Summers in Wuhan are extremely hot and humid. I'll turn on the air conditioner to sleep. My mom always comes into the room at 3 a.m. Turn off the air conditioner. Then I woke up because of the heat. The whole bed was soaked with sweat. We've argued countless times. He always says it's so cool. Why turn on the air conditioner? I once hated him because of this. I even have a phobia of turning on the air conditioner every time. It will all generate a strange sense of guilt. How to solve this problem? Earn money to buy a house. You can pay your own electricity bill. The pursuit of freedom and control. It will make you feel extremely insecure. But wanting to manage one's life well. There is no other way. When you truly give up your sense of security. I found my own methodology. And after taking control of one's own life, you will find talking about getting rich quick is a very narrow-minded thing.